Welcome to the futurist public intellectual. Global warming is so difficult for most people to think about because the topic is so epic in scale and the consequences seem so distant. But like so many things in life, small things add up to big things, and one has to eventually wrestle with an overarching issue like global warming. I think it's important to start with a clarification. Global warming only looks contentious when one looks at it as a social issue. If one zooms out and objectively looks at the phenomenon from a species neutral perspective, global warming is not really a concern. The potential consequences of global warming can be catastrophic, but it mainly seems catastrophic because we are being anthropocentric. For example, cockroaches are estimated to have been on Earth for the past 300 million years. That's a 3 with 8 zeros. They have survived many epochs. There's no reason to doubt that they're going to survive the next global warming. You have to decide whether you want to take an anthropocentric view of global warming or not. Scientists often like to talk about global warming as being caused by unnatural causes, but that's due to the hegemony of the meta-narrative that humans are here and nature is over there. The reality is that the Earth is one interdependent ecosystem. The subsystems are interlocking and, for the most part, are harmonious. So if one species dominates and undermines the stability of the system, then the eventual downfall of that species is not necessarily surprising. Since humans are a natural part of the Earth, their geological impact is also natural, the potential for self-destruction notwithstanding. Despite climate science's best efforts, combined with an anthropocentric perspective, the reality of global warming isn't conclusive in the way that one would like. On one hand, according to NASA, the average global temperature has increased by at least 1.1 degrees Celsius since 1880, with most of the warming happening since 1975. This temperature increase is not theoretical since it's being calculated using actual measurements across time. However, compared to geological time, the data sample is rather small. Using about 140 years worth of temperature measurements allows us to conclude that a dramatic increase in global temperature has occurred in less than 2 human lifetimes. But on the other hand, it doesn't conclusively prove that the global warming we are experiencing is anomalous from a geological perspective. You see, even if it's true that the increased frequency and potency of the Atlantic hurricane seasons, the severity of the droughts in the western United States, and the snowlessness of recent winters can be definitively causally linked to the global warming of the recent past, it is legitimate to question whether anthropogenic global warming is significant in the vastness of geological time. The current geological period is referred to as the Holocene epoch, but considering that the Holocene is considered by many scientists as a warm interglacial age within a larger ice age, our current climate is what's actually anomalous. The Holocene epoch began only 11,700 years ago. Past periods of global warming have been followed by ice ages, and this pattern has persisted throughout geological history. So there's no reason to think that it'll be any different now, simply because the cause is anthropogenic. If we truly care about mitigating global warming, the difficult conversation that needs to be had is what to do about the contribution of human population increase. In a relatively short amount of time, the global population of humans has increased exponentially, simultaneously straining the Earth's resources. While Americans are regularly criticized as disproportionately using the largest share of the world's resources, what's interesting is that if the global population was significantly lower, it wouldn't really matter. According to the Australian Academy of Science, if everyone lived like a middle class American, the Earth's carrying capacity might be 2 billion people. In other words, even if everyone in the world was as profligate as us, if we reduce the world's population by 75%, we could still be fine. By what mechanism such a dramatic population decrease would occur is debatable, of course. In the end, the reason global warming is a non issue is because it is most logical to simply proceed as if global warming is real and catastrophic for humankind, even if anthropogenic global warming doesn't matter in the context of geological time. It still has the possibility of creating many weather-related problems in the short term. From an anthropocentric perspective, we should set policy to mitigate global warming. However, if you aren't anthropocentric, then don't worry about it. The cockroaches will inherit the earth, as they always have. Thank you for listening to the Futurist Public Intellectual.